Hey there, welcome back to the channel. And if you're new around here, well, my name is Mac and I'm a leadership and team building coach, but I work specifically with first-time team managers. So if you've been in my community for a while, then you already know, right, that for the past couple of weeks, I have been a little MIA. And that's honestly just because it has been super busy in my world. Like crazy busy. But I do want to take just a quick second just to thank so many of you for taking that next step of like reaching out to me just to see how I'm doing. I got to tell you, I appreciate the love. And I want to tell you I'm okay. It's just been busy. All right. So in my last video, I talked about the fact that I wanted to get on here and just dive a little bit deeper around people pleasing behavior as a manager. And that's because I know I experienced it. And in talking to so many of you, I know that a lot of you are experiencing it as well, right? It's very normal that as you jump into the role as manager, that you want your team to be happy, that you want your team to like accept you as the new leader. And so you kind of fall into this trap of being kind of a people pleaser, right? Because you want to feel accepted, you want to be liked as the new leader. But here's the thing that I've learned is that you can either lead with integrity or you can lead to be liked, but you cannot have it both ways. You got to choose one in order to be effective. So I want to talk to you about a couple of shifts that I had to make in order to like overcome this and be that leader that leads with integrity rather than being that leader that leads to be liked. And I hope that, some of the things that I talk about in this video, is able to help you as well as you try and like overcome the people pleasing type of leadership. All right, so let's get started. All right, so first things first, you already know that I always say that your team is a direct reflection of you. And in this case, it's no different. I got to tell you. And so if you are leading from a place where you always want to be liked or you have this desire all the time to be liked, you're basically training your team to do the same thing. You're training the team that nice is better than results or nice is better than the truth. Right? Every time I kind of consult a team or, I have the privilege of consulting in an organization with that team, and I see that everybody's being like far too nice and just everything seems or appears to be clicking along really good, I honestly question what I see. And the reason why I question what I see is because I know that conflict is the pursuit of truth. And so wherever there is no conflict, I got to tell you, there is no true progress or traction or even excellence, to be honest, because nobody's challenging one another. And so that usually starts from the leader because the leader's not challenging things because the leader thinks it's more important to be liked. So why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this because if you commit to being that leader that likes to be liked all the time, you are not going to see the results you want to see from your team. You just can't because you're not challenging them to a higher level in any way. So they're never going to reach that higher level for you, right? So this is why I'm saying you got to commit to being honest, and being honest means that sometimes your team is going to be a little bit uncomfortable with you. And that's okay because your job for that team is to make sure that the outcomes are always top of mind. Tip number 2 is to choose yourself. And I'm not saying this in a selfish way or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying at all. But what I am saying is that, every time you bend or change yourself in order to be likable to somebody else, you're slighting yourself. And in slighting yourself, you're basically feeding into this narrative that you are not good as you are, or you're not enough as you are. And that is honestly a false narrative. Because how would you know? You're not giving the other person or other people an opportunity to really know who you are and make their choice based on that, right? You're not giving them that opportunity because you're adapting who you are. Now, if you need a further reframe on that, I want you to think about it this way. So I actually posted this post here a couple of weeks ago on Instagram where I talked about the fact that when I first jumped into my role, I felt like I needed to fit this mold of being a corporate suit, right? That's how I felt. I felt like in order to be respected as a leader, I have to dress this way, I have to act like this, I have to speak like this. That's what I really thought. And then one day, on my walk, I was listening to a podcast on HBR, and the podcast guest was talking about the fact that leadership demands authenticity, which I've talked about before on this channel. But in listening to that, like a couple of things came to mind. I realized, wait, because of the fact that I'm pretending to be this corporate suit, which is definitely not me, I'm actually being very ineffective with my team. And it was once I realized that and realized, wait, Mac, you need to like infuse who you are, your personality, your vibe, everything into your leadership. It wasn't until I realized that and made that change that I actually started to see significant changes on the team. You want to know why? They connected with me. They realized that there wasn't this wall. There wasn't this like fakeness, this fake wall in between me and them. They realized that I was just being who I was, and they felt like they could relate to me, which drew them to me, which made us have amazing, amazing results. So all this to say, like, if you're feeling uncomfortable about what I said about like choosing yourself, then think about it that way, that in order to be effective with your team, you actually have to be who you are 100%. Like, I'm not saying that you have to like tell them like all your business or anything like that, but I do feel like you have to infuse who you are into your leadership in order for them to feel drawn to you and in order for them to like truly respect you and connect with you. Because remember, if you have that wall of fakeness, like I'm talking about, then there's like this dishonesty, right? That's happening between you two, which means they'll feel that they can't trust you. So you want to make sure you break down that wall, stop trying to overthink being liked so much, and just do you, be you. And I promise you, they will connect with who you are. So the other thing I want to encourage you to do is to like know your boundaries and hold yourself accountable to those boundaries. For me, when I first started this journey years back of, trying to like rid myself of this people pleasing type of behavior, I had to go through some of my journals. So I pulled out my journals because, I'm a huge journaler, and I really like analyzed what I was doing and the actions and decisions I was making. And in each instance, I had to say to myself, like, Mac, did you do this or say this or allow this because you wanted to? Or did you allow and say these things because you wanted people to like you? And in a lot of those instances, I got to tell you, I did it because I wanted to be liked, and it came at my expense. So I had to like literally circle those instances and like say to myself, no, this is a boundary. You are no longer going to do this. You are no longer going to say yes when you don't agree. You're no longer going to do this, whatever the case might be. And I wrote it all down, and legit, it was on a piece of paper in my desk at work. So in my first drawer was this piece of paper. In fact, one of my team members found it once when I told her to go look for something. She was like, Mac, what is this? And I was like, it's my boundaries. But yeah, I literally wrote those things down and I held myself accountable to it, which was kind of hard to do because you're going to want to like fall into like your old habits and just do what comes easiest to you or what is natural to you because that's the way you've always done it. But if you like recognize it, you have that self-awareness and you're that much more equipped to stop it in its path before you let it take over. So that's what I want to suggest to you is I want you to actually analyze your behavior. Take a deep think about what you're doing and ask yourself, like, is this really what I want to do? Or is this something I'm doing because I feel like I have to do it? And then in terms of holding yourself accountable, like you can do what I did, write it down, keep it somewhere close, or you can ask a friend to hold you accountable, right? Like maybe it's a coworker that you're pretty close with that can be there and hold you accountable, or it's a friend outside of work. Whatever you choose, just make sure that you are holding yourself accountable. And I will say this, like, don't be disappointed with yourself if you trip up every once in a while. That's going to happen. The point is that you're trying to get better, right? And so be okay with the fact that you're trying to get better and that sometimes things aren't going to go exactly the way you plan when it comes to like holding yourself accountable with this stuff. Because honestly, people pleasing behavior takes time. It takes time to, to shift the needle on it because it actually, when you think about it, took a really long time for you to be where you are today with these behaviors, right? Like this is like stuff probably that goes back to your childhood that is affecting you right now. So don't expect that overnight, just because you write a couple things down, that it's going to change overnight. It's going to take consistent effort and commitment on your part. But I know that as long as you like keep at it, you're going to be able to do it because I was able to do it too. All right, guys, so that's pretty much it for today's video. I hope you found it helpful. And if you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my content that I share on this platform pretty much every single Tuesday. All right, take care. It was great to see you. And don't forget to keep smiling and have a fantastic rest of your week. Take care.